Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is my first video on non-duality overcoming the fear. My name is Omar. I had my experience about 21 years ago, and it changed the whole course of my life. I decided to start this series for people who were experiencing what I experienced. I had to really learn a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking to you guys about firsthand, or I had to either get it in a book, seminar, audio books, different spiritual writings, I really didn't have anybody to talk to about what it feels like after your experience. What do you do then? Especially if you don't have anybody around you that cares about you enough to help you through it, because you're gonna need a guide. You're gonna need a guide. I'm saying guide. It's it's a tough situation that you're in right now, but it's also a beautiful situation. I can see that, right? And I don't even know you. But I know that if you're listening to this video, you're looking for the right words. You're looking for somebody that can talk to the fear part of the whole situation, because even though the experience, and when I say experience, I've gotten past thinking that my experience is the experience. Everybody's can be different. And, I think that there are similarities, though, that you'll find throughout your readings and studies. And now with YouTube, you can type in, non-duality, and you can come up with all kinds of people that are giving instruction and advice and everything like that. But me personally, I think that's up to the person to find out what they want to do with the gift of the experience. The important thing is getting this person out of that fear mode, making sure this person doesn't become schizophrenic and stay that way, making sure this person isn't paranoid. You see what I mean? Because those things are going to happen. Now, they may happen in different intervals or lengths of time. For everybody, it may be different. It's going to vary. But you're going to have that. It might happen for a day. It might happen for a week, month, year, 2 years, 3 years. If you don't try and fix it, you're going to stay that way. And, I went through my little period. I think it took me about... And I was in a different situation, because I was a tennis coach. I was also a professional tennis player. So after I graduated from college, I went on the pro tour, and I think I stopped when I was about 28-ish, something like that. And then I had my experience at 29. When I stopped playing, I immediately started coaching. And that's how I got married. I ended up marrying one of the ladies that I was coaching, and she was rich, so I didn't have to work. I got thrown into this situation basically where I had everything. You know what I mean? At like that young of an age, I was at 28. I was not using cash. Okay. So we're talking about over 20 years ago, I was on that level. Okay? I could get anything I wanted. I didn't have to work. I didn't coach anymore. Okay? And I had my experience about a year after I ran into this crazy situation, right? Where I just happened to have everything I wanted, right? Just magically. And it scared the hell out of me. I don't talk about the experience because the exact experience, exactly what happened, I don't think I'm going to talk about it. This is the first time I've ever opened up and actually came out in public and said, hey, this is what happened to me. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I really do want to help people that are in the infant stages of understanding what non-duality is, understanding what it is, what we're doing here. It doesn't have to be called life. That word alone implies a lot of things. We're just here. We're here. Whether we're alive or not, that's for another video, right? So, the one thing that I want to emphasize for the people who are just having their experience is really be careful about what you put into your brain. Keep it gentle. Don't push it. Don't be like, well, I used to watch stuff like this and it didn't bother me. No. If it's bothering you, stop watching it. You're not a punk. Well, I used to watch boxing all the time and now it just seems to, I don't know what it is. Or I used to watch this show all the time and it's bothering me. Or, gosh, these commercials are offensive. Or, gosh, this music seems, it could be anything. It might not be everything I want. This person, I used to talk to this person and what she said before didn't bother me, but now it's like, it gives me this kind of feeling. Okay? When you have that, just get away from it. It's not going anywhere. It'll be there when you come back. Stop watching it, period. Don't say, I'm tough. This isn't supposed to be scaring me. Don't walk into that trap because you'll be sitting there scared. You see what I mean? Let your body, not your body, let your mind tell you what it needs. If it feels afraid, call somebody. Call somebody you trust. If they're saying things for some reason it seems like maybe a sentence or two might be bothering you, ask them what they meant. Don't get off the phone and now you're thinking, you had a 30-minute conversation and now you're thinking about one sentence they said. You're changing the words around in the sentence. For those of you who have had a true experience that I'm talking about, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, at least now you'll be ready. Where you're like, oh, this is what Omar was talking about. This isn't me going crazy. It's just that my mind is trying to reconfigure itself. You see what I mean? And that takes time. And your mind is an amazing, amazing thing. So, like, I remember after I had my first experience, it felt like I was a child. Even though I was 29 years old, graduated from college, tennis, all kinds of stuff I've done, right? I felt like a child after my experience. I was lifted and put back down. And when I came back down, I was still me, but it was like I was new. And I remember when I used to go to church, and when I was a kid, and they would always talk about being born again and all this stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean, born again? Right? See, there's some ministers that have been born again and they're talking to you about it. There's some ministers that haven't been born again. They think that because they changed their ways, they were born again. No. There is really literally a born again without you dying on this planet. There's really something that can happen to you. It's a phenomenon. It doesn't happen to everybody. It doesn't happen to most people. So therefore, when it does happen to you, you're like out on your own because you're like, yo, did this happen to you? And then you're like, when the person says no, you're like, yeah, right. You just don't want to say it or whatever. You don't know for sure if anybody else has had this experience. That's just like with me, right? This has been 21 years now. Today is the first day I started talking about it. You see what I mean? Because I wanted to make sure, hey, I don't want to be talking about something maybe to get me in trouble in a spiritual way. You see what I mean? When you have this type of experience and you start to realize that, man, you are part of a bigger plan. That's when shit gets real. Okay? That's when shit gets real. When you out here and you just going trying to make you your $1,000,000 and you trying to move up in your company and your family and job and all your job family and you going to the Braves game and all this stuff and everything like that, that's great. And you think you are really part of God's plan. You might be living a great life, right? It don't have nothing to do with that. It don't have nothing to do with your family, your friends, and nothing. This is a personal thing. This is between you and the big God. I'm not talking about the God that lives inside your mind. You know that voice that you've always heard, right? You've always heard that voice. Even after your experience, you heard the voice, right? It's always been the same. The thing that changed was your mind. You were renewed. You were what? Born again. You were truly born again. Not like the born again that the ministers are trying to get the people to believe they've done because they might have stopped sinning. No, that's not born again. You know when you're born again. Trust me. Your life will change. So for some people, they say, you might have told some people, right? And they say, oh, man, that was just a dream, man, right? Then you'll start believing it was just a dream, right? You know good and well that wasn't no dream. You ain't never seen colors like that. You ain't never seen movement like that. You ain't never felt like that, right? So it's easy to tell yourself it was just a dream. It's a dream you'll never forget. I still haven't forgotten mine. I'll say over 21 years, it's not quite as vivid, but it's pretty much the same. You see what I mean? It's pretty much the same.